Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Welcome to Zach's Top Stock Picks of the Week. I'm Tracy Brynick, and I'm going solo this week with two of our top stock picks. Both are Zach's number one ranked buys. That means they are strong buys, the highest rank you can have here at Zach's. Now remember, the Zach's rank is a 1 to 3 month recommendation. It can change daily as it's based on analyst earnings estimates. When they revise it higher, you get a higher Zach's rank. And that's what we want. We want those earnings estimates to be moving up because that tells us something good is going on at that company. And that's what we bring you every week in this segment, our top stock picks. And I have two interesting but very different companies this week. And we're starting with a silver miner. No, I left the gold miners at home this week. I know many of you are surprised because I have covered a lot of the gold miners, but I haven't really covered a silver miner. And this week it's Buenaventura Mining, ticker BVN. It is out of Peru. They have mines. They also have royalty streams. They are opening up a new mine coming up, so they're spending a lot on CapEx. And remember, with all of the miners, are they getting it out of the ground? Now, Buenaventura is not just silver. It has gold and copper. So those are the three big kahunas because all three are trading at or near their all-time highs. Silver is busted out now up over $60 for the first time ever. And it seems to be holding some of this momentum. So what does that mean for earnings? As long as they're getting it out of the ground again, earnings are rising. Let's take a look and see why we have the Zach's number one rank on Buenaventura. And I think it's pretty obvious why. We only have two estimates, and you can see that here on the current year, two on the number of estimates here. Earnings expected to be up 19.5% this year, but look at next year, 33.7%. And this is without knowing whether or not these high prices are really going to hold. With only a few analysts, we have one that's up in the last 30 days for this year. We have one up in the last 60 days. That's after the last earnings report for next year. But we also have one that's down in the last 30 days. So that one, because we only have a couple of analysts, has really kind of skewed the earnings outlook here. So within 30 days for next year, it was at 292, now at 254. So that person definitely has cut quite a bit there for 2026. But that being said, it's still up 33% over the earnings expected for this year. So I'm really liking any of these miners on the precious metals, the silver and the gold miners. Buenaventura is shareholder friendly. They're paying a dividend of 1.7% right now, but these free cash flows are going to continue to rise as long as they're able to get it out of the ground and these high metal prices remain. So these are all the factors at play. They had a cash position of $485.7 million at the end of the third quarter, and net debt was $224.9 million. So that's a good ratio that you want to see with these miners. It does cost a lot to operate any kind of mine, and it costs a lot in CapEx to get one up and running. So that's where a lot of the debt is with the miners. But this is their time to shine. We haven't had record prices in decades here on any of these metals. So this is when they really cash in, and this is when you can cash in as an investor. Trading at 13 times earnings. This is Buenaventura Mining, ticker B as in boy, VN is the ticker. Okay, then we're going to switch. We're going to switch over to a completely different area on the travel side with Expedia, ticker EXPE. I'm getting the wrong ticker in there. EXPE, Expedia Group. I own it in Zach's Value Investor Portfolio, also the Zach's number one rank. as you can see, as I brought it up here on our quote page. It's got that B for value. That's why I own it in the value investor. It's still attractive with valuation. So this one's trading with a forward P of 17 times now, but look at this PEG ratio of 0.98 on Expedia. That is under 1. And remember, a PEG ratio under 1 means it has both value and growth. 2025 earnings expected to be up 24%, as you can see on the sales, EPS, and growth rate chart. I like to look at this on our quote page because it's just so easy. It's sitting right there. And then 2026, another 20% earnings growth. So that's why it's got these attractive valuations. But why is it the number one? That's because the earnings estimates are being revised higher. So I went over the detailed estimates, and scrolling down, you can see that to be the case. Here's the agreement on the estimate revisions. 5 are up in the last 60 days for this year, but we've got 7 up for next year in the last 60 and just 1 even in the last 30 days for 2026. And then you can see the big jump in earnings for the consensus here, 1509 for this year, up from 1413, and then 1823 for next year, up from 16.69. Now, the only caveat with Expedia, and let's take a look at the price consensus and surprise chart on this one too, because it is my favorite chart. The only thing with Expedia is just worries about the consumer. Many people think if we're going to go into a recession, you're going to cut back on travel. That is always what has happened. But so far, we're not seeing it. We're actually seeing a revision they gave for 2025 in bookings and revenue. They raised both for this year. And analysts are bullish that the consumer is going to keep spending on experiences for next year. And we're seeing that also with the cruise companies as well. People are still going on those cruises and they're still booking those trips on platforms like Expedia. So I'm still liking it until something tells us differently. You can see on the price and consensus and surprise chart, the upward trajectory now of the estimates here, as the company was more bullish than what the street was thinking, and they were trying to be a little more conservative. The shares are at or just around those new highs there, up a little over 40% year to date. But again, still attractively valued if it can do this earnings growth into next year and maybe beyond. This 2027 line is looking pretty bullish here too. So that's Expedia Group, ticker EXPE. There's a lot of different industries on the Zacks number one rank list, and you can find them all on our website. Go to Zacks.com to get the Zacks number one list on there. And as always, every week we're bringing you the top stock picks of the week. They're always number one strong buy stocks. So be sure to tune in. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to Zacks.com/YouTube or put in Zacks Investment Research into YouTube to subscribe. I know many of you are. We thank you for subscribing. You don't want to miss all the new content we're going to be making for 2026. It's coming up soon. So be sure to subscribe. Click on those notifications and get all of our videos whenever they launch. And we'll be back next week with some more top stock picks.